Hey, what's going on, man? It's your guy, Coach Thomas, the champion maker. We're here today, and I'm working with a beginner. This young man here is a late starter, but it doesn't matter where you start, it's all about where you finish. As you can see here, we begin the session with some positive affirmation. We want to affirm to this young man how he wants to perform today, what his goals are for today, and we also want to sow the seeds of some positive self-image inside of this young man. Notice in here, we will usually take about a 15 to 20 minute time period. We'll get our bodies warmed up. Sometimes we do static stretching, just a little bit of static stretching, and then we also do dynamic warm-ups. So as you can see here, I'm trying to explain to this young man that everything we do on the basketball court, we hustle. So we're getting ready to go to the baseline. As you can see, I have the young man hustling to the baseline. Here we'll proceed to do some dynamic warm-ups. These are knee highs, some skips there. We're gonna do some backwards trotting. And keep in mind, this is all speeded up. You do want to take your time here. Dedicate about 15 to 20 minutes of your time to actually work on warming the body up, doing some basketball moves, especially when you have beginners, because if you're not familiar with your body, it's hard to be a great basketball player. So we want to make sure that we slow down and actually activate those parts of the body that, some kids aren't used to using. Right, you can see we're doing some single leg things here. As you can see by his body posture there, he's on the right, I'm on the left, by the way. Now we're actually getting to some small basketball things. We're working on basic pivot before we do anything. A basic pivot, as you can see, I use the saying, hey, your toes are glued, but your heels can move. We actually went on to a little bit of defensive work. We're working on his posture and working on moving at an angle. When you're on defense, hey, if your first step is forward, that guy's probably going to go past you. So we're working on just getting this young man to open up and go at an angle. Then we go ahead and get some hand-eye coordination work in. Tennis balls are great for this. So something else that a lot of trainers overlook. Hey, if a guy can't use his hands or if his hand-eye coordination is underdeveloped, that's going to minimize how well he could do in basketball. So we kind of pay attention to all of those details, especially when we're working with a beginner or someone who's transferring from another sport. Sometimes you have kids who are pretty good with their hand-eye coordination, but you will have to do an assessment to see, where that particular child is, and then we'll move forward. We started with some stationary ball handling. Now we're just, we're using our left hand and our right hand to dribble. We're actually doing some movement. But while we're moving, you notice that I'm telling him the importance of keeping his head up while he's dribbling. I'm going to give him another chance there. Try to keep his head up this time. I remind the kids here that every bounce counts. Every bounce counts. We want to pound the ball, really press it down hard so that it comes back to our hand. If not, hey, the ball will just die down. We want that ball to come back to our hand. All right, and as you can see here, hey, we started with stationary dribbling. We went on to some basic movement where he was almost walking, but now we're trying to allow him to actually run while he's dribbling. Right? Because in the game of basketball, you're gonna have to actually run. So we started small and we built our way up. All right, and please forgive me. Some of these clips are scattered. So when you're setting up your session, hey, you may want to do 20 minutes of ball handling, 20 minutes of footwork, 20 minutes of defense. You can break it down how you want to. This is just for educational purposes only, just to give you guys an idea of what we do when we have a kid. This young man is like a 5th grader or a 6th grader here, but this is what we do when we get a kid who's just starting out. The kid may not have played basketball when he was younger, so he's starting from scratch. So we just want to make sure that we give him a solid foundation, and we don't skip over these things that these things that are seemingly boring. We don't want to skip over those things. We want to take our time. We want to slow down and work on those things so we can help this guy build a steady, solid foundation. All right. And as you can see, hey, we didn't do much as far as the complicated things in that particular session. We worked on the basic things. We worked on body movement. We worked on hand-eye coordination. We worked on basic ball handling. We worked on stationary ball handling. Then we began to move. Then we actually tried to allow this young man to put some speed to his movement. Then we actually, we turned him around and tried to put that all together and allow him to make a layup. Seems like it's a bunch of basic, boring stuff, but these are the things that you have to do if you want to build a solid foundation. Hey, thank you. Once again, it's Coach Thomas, the champion maker, and we'll see you guys next time.